Hi, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a subject that everyone's talking about right now in the news, and it's about Janet Jackson. If you go back and look at my profile, you'll see several videos that I talked about censorship, and the thing that I was bringing out is how the Democrat Party, they are bullies, and they've always been bullies. They have now gone back to the 1945 Democrat Party when they were led by the KKK. And at that time, they bullied black people to either vote for whomever they told them to, or they bullied them to try to keep them from voting. What we're seeing that happened to Janet Jackson, every black person in America, I don't care what political party you are a member of, you should be livid about the way they are treating Janet Jackson in 2024. This is what Janet Jackson's grandmother or probably great-grandmother had to deal with. She should not have to deal with this right now. It is her choice to vote for whomever she chooses. And we're sitting here watching this KKK party now threaten someone 60 years after the Civil Rights Act was signed, after the Voting Rights Act was signed. We're still dealing with the same people, the same tactics. So every black person in America and anybody in America, you should be livid with what the Democrat Party is trying to do. All of the things that they are doing to suppress people from voting against their candidate. These are things that you see in communist countries and the things that we have not seen to this extent in the United States since the 1960s. 60 years later, we're defending Janet Jackson's right to not support the candidate of the party of choice, okay? The party of the billionaires. We have to defend her right to say, I'm not fond of her, and I'm not fond of her because she was involved in the case that tried to totally annihilate my brother. If you have not looked it up, go look it up. But Kamala Harris was involved in the case with Michael Jackson. And they did not try to look for whether Michael was guilty. They tried to make him guilty. And so the good thing about it is that at least he was exonerated in these cases. But Janet Jackson has a memory. Her memory is what Kamala Harris and her staff, her team, what they did to Janet's brother. But the main thing is that in 2024, we still have that same party. I remember when I was a kid and all of the talk about George Wallace and all of those people in the South and how mean they were and how they did things to keep black people from voting, like poll taxes, how they made them even pay and they had to test in order to prove that they had the right to vote. Although they were given the right to vote, they still had to prove it, and all of the things that they did to suppress the black vote. Janet Jackson is one of us. We don't have to pull her DNA. We don't have to go and try to pull her to see what her heritage is or anything like that, her genealogy. She is a black woman. She grew up a black woman in the United States with a black family, okay? So we accept her. We accepted her when we saw her as a little girl when her brothers were performing. We're not out here trying to see, well, maybe she is and maybe she isn't. There's no discussion about it. We know who she is. She is one of us. And we're going to make sure that she has a right to vote for whomever she chooses. Now, had she chosen Kamala, that's her business. I mean, it really is. I really don't care. That's totally her business. But it's also her business not to choose Kamala, especially since Kamala was tied to the case with Michael Jackson, the one where they treated him like he was an animal, like the way they treated him. Janet has every reason in the world not to like Kamala Harris, and she does not have to prove one thing to one person. She is a U.S. citizen. She has a right to vote for whomever she chooses. And you Democrats, are not going to bully her, okay? That's her right.